dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds they won't go inside. Artificially validated way I'm your future, past and present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a missing of this illusion. I don't really hear about an intrusion. I don't flip or sing, I just flow. I don't need gravity, I don't need roll. When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho. When I I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way pumped out, evolution in my veins. I'm gold, I've been far away, I'm illuminated, now I make a move, start the waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds they won't go inside. Artificially validated way
Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the Racing Line Clio Cup, powered by GT Omega Racing, and of course the VCO eSports, as I see Kakala in chat saying, Jack, don't forget to unmute yourself. I'm unmuted, you can hear me, right? I know you can hear me. Dan Thornton's in chat already on YouTube saying good luck to the Team ORD duo of Patrick and Joe tonight. About time they both had some good fortune. And Andre Marek, an ex-driver for Team ORD, is also in chat and YouTube already supporting, especially at one of the best circuits in the world, says Dan Thornton. Although the GP version is better, we are at Brands Hatch Circuit, and it's the Indy layout. It is the Indy layout, not the GP today, because I thought, why not, after the chaos and the fun that was Knock Hill round 1? I thought, let's find a smaller and less overtakey circuit to increase the chances of that happening again. Why not? No. It is a short circuit. It's 1.92 kilometers. There are 5 turns in total, and there is minimal opportunity for overtaking. So expect some trains or some crashes. Who knows? Biggie Morello says was thinking the same, but he's talking now. No, I'm here. Stephen King says good luck, Pulse eSports. They are not in this series, unfortunately. That team is dead and done. Kakala says, yeah, I can hear you. There was just a very long gap from intro to when you started. He's not retired, he's on a break. Yeah, now chat's just abusing me. This is unfair. Anyway, round 2, races 3 and 4. There are 5 rounds in total. I am Jack Johns. I am your host for today, and we are being broadcast on the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch, and VCO eSports YouTube and Twitch. If you want to buy any GT Omega products, then use the TRL discount code or TRL5 for 5% off. And don't forget to check out the website, theracingline.org, for all of the news about the Touring Car Championship and the Jetta Cup Championship. The Clios aren't on there yet, but I'm sure Stephen King will pull his finger out at some point, since, well, you know, Haas F1 team aren't doing very well, are they, Stephen? So it's not like you're working hard. No, I'm only joking. I'm sure some more points will come your way. Hulkenberg's sitting pretty in the top 10. For those that don't know, Stephen King works for Haas F1 team. There you go. I outed him. Anyway, let's catch up with the news of the RLCC. What is happening in the RLCC? This is round 2. The calendar looks like this. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, Media Day was at Alton Park Fosters, a small square circuit with minimal overtaking opportunity. Did we see crashes? Yes, that was 2 weeks ago. Photos of that are available to be seen on Twitter, etc, etc. Round 1 was last week at Knock Hill. Small track, minimal overtaking opportunity. We done it again. And of course today, round 2, the 1st of May, Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. We also have, I'm expecting similar next week with the Silverstone National layout for round 3. We'll see you then, for those of you that have been with us all the while. And for those of you that are sticking with us throughout the season, I'll see you. And those of you that are new, then yeah, stay with us. Although I am a little bit worried about frames today. So let me know if the frames are dropping, because that's going to frustrate me. I'm hoping it's just intermittent, and we can just continue, and I don't have to restart the stream, because when that happens, it's an absolute nightmare. Anyway, round 4 would be Snetterton. That is the 300 layout. That's a nice full circuit for the first time on the calendar for round 4, and then the finale at Donington Park National, where we expect to see many more brilliant overtaking, fantastic battles and all sorts. And look at those times, actually. It's about time I had a look at those times. It's looking very close up there. 51.7s for the top 3. The lap times look like this, Stephen King. It is 51.7.12 for Roman Perschke for Team Husingveld up there in P1. He's currently not on circuit, Roman. He's in the pits there with his lovely looking machine. Lucas Egelblad, a new driver to us. The Danish driver for Northside Racing Gold is also in the pits. He's up there with a 51.737. And Patrick Dupart, yet again, showing that pace up there in P3 with also a 51.7. Let's just have a look at those gaps again. Less than a tenth separate the top 4. In fact, well, we knew it would be tight. Look how small the circuit is. It's 6 tenths separating the whole field. Imagine being half a second off pole and then being in 19th place, like Jan Weiswanger for Meatball Motorsport, who's currently driving around there in his beautiful purple machine. Your standings, they look like this. This is where we are. What a lovely livery Patrick has, says Dan Thornton on YouTube chat. Indeed, unfortunately for Team ORD, we'll start at the bottom end and work our way up. Team ORD are currently 12th in the standings after a miserable time out, actually, last time round. But it's not for lack of pace. They do have the pace to climb up that order, and I'm sure we'll see them jump a few positions today. A 15th and an 18th and a 17th and a 19th last time out. But Patrick definitely showed the same pace that he has, or he is showing right now. In fact, I believe he qualified 3rd in the race, and he's currently 3rd in practice right now. So will we see him continue that form? I'm not sure. Joe Gibson definitely deserves some luck. He's had a right mare for a little while now, so hopefully he can keep it clean. ZFG are down there in P11, just 1 point behind Lurchus Euskadi and Send It or Bend It. Send It or Bend It, who only had 1 driver last week. They've got 2 drivers today, I believe. Send It or Bend It. Can I just confirm that? Yes, I can. Dan Downing makes his debut for the RLCC, whilst Kevin Anfield, race winner Kevin Anfield, the Australian driver, obviously comes back. 26 points for them. Slow in, slide out. I'm talking about not Send It or Bend It. Send It or Bend It is Eric Manintveld and Stephen Burns. They had a few issues last time out, but they are drawing with Lurchus Euskadi. Slow in, slide out is Kevin Anfield and Dan Downing in P8. Meatball Motorsport are up there in P7 with Kieran Dempsey scoring most of those points right now, but I'm sure Jan Weiswanger, we got a P20, so he did score some points last time out in race 1. Northside Racing Red are up there in P6 with Lurchus Galicia up in P5 with 50 points. That's after Jesus Amundere claims a podium last time out. Goldwing Motorsport 62 points, just 1 point behind Northside Racing Gold, a debut team here in P3 right now with Lucas Egelblad up in P2 in practice, so that's looking good for them. Win It or Bin It up in P2 and Team Husingveld in 1st place currently, but only 1 driver on the grid today, with Fabian Siegmann not quite making it to this Brands Hatch round. He did message and say he won't be making it today. There's 3 drivers that I'm aware of that aren't making it. I can see 21 names on the list as well, so that sounds about right. Fabian Siegmann was one of them. I'm scrounging my memory now for the others that can't make it. Who else said that? I've definitely got messaged. I don't know, but I love that shot of when they're all coming out the pits. 8 minutes qualifying, all on track at once. Important to get your lap times out there. Sam Van Olst, not... Oh, there he is. It wasn't appearing. Our customer team's banned. Some of those teams have fishy names. Don't know what you're asking, to be honest, Stephen. Don't get it. Who was I talking about? Who's missing? Who else is missing? Both Lurchus cars are here. All 4 Lurchus cars are here. Goldwing are here. It's going to be really obvious when I spot it. Kyle Ridley and John Bailiff for Win It or Bin It are here. Currently P2 in the standings. Kyle Ridley on absolute form right now in the Australian Win It or Bin It car. Shame about the green wheels. I actually feel a little bit guilty that Siegmund is the only one that I've noticed. There's Donny Henriksen out there for Northside Racing. One of the Danish guys. It's Martin Kjær. One of the Danish. I knew one of the Danish messaged me saying they couldn't make it. And Donny Henriksen does look like one of the others, actually. So there we have it. Donny Henriksen, Martin Kjær, and Fabian Siegmund are not out there. Anders Kaiser is showing up on the timing screen, but I cannot see him driving around. Anyway, this man, debut. Should we have a look on board of Daniel Downing in his slow in, slide out car as Roman Persky is lighting up the times? Yes, let's go on board and follow a lap of Daniel Downing. Brands Hatch Indy, debut driver, number 17, for slow in, slide out. The British driver exits the final turn. He's got a Meatball Motorsport car up the road from him. I'm not sure which one that is. It's Jan Weiswanger up the road, so let's see how much he closes down. Over to the left-hand side as he comes up the brow of the hill. 100-meter board, brakes, and now look, watch as the track dips down away, hits that apex curve nicely. He's in 5th gear, didn't downshift to 4th, carries the speed down, back up the hills he goes towards Druids. A nice little tight hairpin. It's quite open though, you can carry some speed for 85 kilometers an hour at the apex in 2nd gear, and now he's going down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. Over to the right, quick dab of the brakes, watch the rear end through here. You can use all that curve on the exit, you won't get a 1x there, and away he goes. 140, 145, 150 kilometers an hour into the flat out left. No, he lifted in 5th gear through the left-hander, and now you've got a brake in a straight line towards the outside of the circuit as you turn it into the final turn of Clearways. You come over the brow of the hill again. He's got that Meatball Motorsport car right in front of him now. He's getting a nice tow down this main straight. Hold it to the right-hand side to minimize your run. I don't think he thinks this is a good lap because he's following Jan right now. 3 minutes on the clock, and where does this put Daniel Downing? Does he improve? He goes up into P3, just 2.5 tenths off of pole position. Dempsey, though, jumps up and knocks him down to P4. As Dempsey jumps up into the 2nd spot for Meatball Motorsport. He was actually behind the pair of them. There he is. Coming through Druids now, but Roman Persky, a 51.6, faster than all of the practice times. A nice early quick lap from Roman Persky, who we know is quick. Anders Kaiser is, in fact, on track. Here is the NSR red car. I think it's the first time he's been out on track this session as Gregory Otley for ZFG pumps it up less than 1/10 off of pole position. Gregory Otley, the number 93. Lucas Egelblad slots into P3, but look at that. That's a storming qualifying lap for Greg Otley. ZFG up in P2. Where's his teammate Martin Wallace? He's down in 16th. Kieran Dempsey pops it up into P2. And Roman Persky goes 3 tenths quicker than the lot of them. Roman is on an absolute flyer. There's the Team Husingveld car. JJ the Fox says nice drift. They do love a bit of a drift, these cars. As we see some of the sliding smoke. This is just a lovely picturesque shot of turn 1. I'll tell you what, we'll leave it on this turn 1 camera because we've got Eric Manintveld and a whole train of cars about to come through here, and this is what it's going to look like. Here we go. There's Eric Manintveld, followed by Gregory Otley, followed by one of the Lurchers cars. That's Alejandro Caraday. That's Joe Gibson. There goes an NSR Gold. ZFG, Win It or Bin It, Goldwing. 2 Lurchers Euskadi cars, another Win It or Bin It, Goldwing, and another ORD car. Big old train of people coming down turn 1. Then you have the NSR Red. Dan Downing comes through with the red slow in, slide out. The 2 Meatball cars, and another Send It or Bend It. Jack's made the common mistake of calling Clark Curve as Clearways. Clearways is how I've always known that final turn. I'm not going to argue with Dan Thornton, the bike master. Clearways. Always send it on Clearways. I mean, I hope these guys don't because it will cause chaos, but always got to send it. Anyway, I think it's time we go through the championship order. We've had a look at the team's order. There's 3 minutes left of qualifying, and Roman Persky looks to be set to earn 3 points right now for pole position, with Dempsey and Otley claiming 2 and 1 point respectively for their current positions, as Duncan Murray slots up into P6. But this is your current championship order. From top to bottom, Fabian Siegmund then leads the way by 3 points, but he's not here tonight, so he will be losing that lead. And hopefully he'll come back with a charge for the final 3 rounds. Kyle Ridley is currently in P2, just 3 points behind, with Roman Persky in P3. Duncan Murray had a strong round. Up there, 2 points behind Roman in P4. Lucas Egelblad he is solidly in P5, with Kevin Anfield taking the race 2 reverse race win up there in P6. Kieran Dempsey P7 with Anders Kaiser in P8. John Bailiff P9 and Jesus Amundre with a podium up there in P10. Martin Kier, Alejandro Caraday, Sam Van Olst, Gregory Otley, Donny Henriksen, Stephen Burns, Ike Lequay and Davy Corpus round off your top 18. The final bits of the championship order: Eric Mannenfeld and Joe Gibson with 10 points each. Ike Lequay and David Corpus 13 points each. Patrick Dupart with 9 points. Martin Wallace with 6. Jan Weiswanger with 5. And Daniel Downing, who races for the first time today, currently has 0 points, but I'm sure he'll be looking to change that. Everyone scores in race 1. For those of you that are joining us for the first time today, the format is as follows. They had 40 minutes practice, I believe it is. No, half an hour practice. They don't get 40 minutes. Half an hour practice, 8 minutes qualifying with all of them out on track. And I believe everyone has set their laps apart from Anders Kaiser, who is now out there by himself. So Paul, that's qualifying pretty much done now, apart from Anders, who might not have set his 5 laps yet. After this 8-minute qualifying, we have a 15-minute race, and it is in qualifying order. Everybody scores points. Then there will be a short, less than 5-minute break pretty much before we head to race 2, which is another 15-minute race with a full reverse grid of the result from race 1. But in the race 2, only the top 16 score points. You get points for first, second and third in qualifying. You get points for fastest lap in the race. And you get points for leading a lap during the races as well. But only one. You don't get one for every lap you lead. Some people get confused with that one, but it's a new addition to the Clio Cup, as they all sit there waiting for Anders Kaiser, who's not going to get another lap in, I think. He's just going to... there we go. It ticks over. And now we head to the race 1. Let's have a look at our grid then, shall we? It looks like this. Roman Persky, the Austrian driver for Team Husingveld, on pole with a 51.4, 3 tenths quicker than Kieran Dempsey, the Irish driver for Meatball Motorsport. Gregory Otley will be over the moon with that. Only 100th off of Kieran Dempsey up there. He's in P3 with Lucas Egelblad in P4. Patrick Dupart shows pace again with P5. Duncan Murray, Daniel Downing on his debut, P7. Carl Ridley, P8. Caraday and Eric Mannenfeld round off your top 10 with John Bailiff and Joe Gibson up there in the top 12 as well, at the bang-on halfway point for Joe Gibson. So a strong quali for ORD indeed. Stephen Burns, Martin Wallace, David Corpus, Ike Lequay, Kevin Anfield, Sam Van Olst, Jesus Amundre and Jan Weiswanger round off your top 20. And Anders Kaiser for Northside Racing Red, number 98, down in 21st, our last driver of the day. Fabian Siegman, not here. Donny Henriksen, not here. And Martin Kier, not here today. We're waiting for Daniel down into grid. And everyone is pretty much there. What's the best? Oh, that's a nice camera. Is this the best camera, though? Is there any others? Don't think there will be. Turn 1 is too far away. Turn 3, camera 3 will be too close. Let's do this one. Who are we waiting for now? John Bailiff, not on the grid currently. Must be going for a quick pre-race wee. So many of them do that, you know. Oh, there we go. And the lights are on. Everyone's on the grid. 30 seconds to go, but the lights are on. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are about to get underway for Brands Hatch round 2, race 3 of the season, and they all get a fairly good start. There's a little bit of wheel spin around the midfield, but it looks like Roman Persky might have the start he needed, but Greg Otley is down the inside of Kieran Dempsey already. Mounts the curb as he goes down the hill, and now he's solidly on the inside of the hairpin as they all come down through Paddock Hill Bend. Down towards Druids. Easy on the brakes. You don't want to lock up these cars because it can go horribly wrong, but it looks like everyone seems to be making it through pretty safely as Roman Persky was under pressure there from Kieran Dempsey. Greg Otley looks like he had to back out. Didn't quite get P2 from Kieran as one of the ORD cars runs wide. That is Patrick Dupart, I believe, under pressure from Duncan Murray, who's up the inside of the left-hander through into Clearways, or Clark Curve as Dan Thornton wants me to call it for the rest of this. But Dan Downing, who is in this race, was all over the back of Duncan Murray there as they entered that final turn. And now look, on the main straight, on top of Dan Downing's car, to the left-hand side of Duncan Murray. The 33 car is on the left. Who's going to brake later in towards turn 1? It's the slow in, slide out car. Gets a little bit late on the brakes. Can he get the switch back? No, he can't. Duncan Murray positions his car nicely. And look at Kieran Dempsey under pressure. Roman Persky's made a mistake. He's down into P4. Kieran Dempsey and Greg Otley side by side through Druids. Down the hill they go towards Greybill Bend. Dan Downing's off the circuit at the top of the hill. but Greg Otley round the outside and Kieran Dempsey through Graham Hill, and he's going to make it to the lead. Gregory Otley for ZFG into first place. We're on lap 2 of 14. It's not over yet. Roman Perschke down to P4. Kyle Ridley's having issues here. I don't think it's a slowdown, but he's next to his Win It or Bin It teammate now. The two Win It or Bin It cars next to each other. Oh, that's net code for Dan Downing, I think. The rear's touched. Dan Downing shows, well, it's so common, shall we say, for that machine. But Gregory Otley with a sterling move, a fantastic move around the outside of Kieran Dempsey to take the lead. And Kieran's lost a little bit of the rear there. He's under pressure from Lucas Egelblad. Up the inside goes the NSR Gold car. Where are we? This is the wrong side of the car. We don't want this one. This is the one we want. Lucas Egelblad on the right-hand side. Kieran Dempsey, you can just see in the left of shot as they go down towards the corner. Is it going to happen again? It is going to happen again. Round the outside goes Lucas. Gets back onto the road. The grey stuff. And away they go. Lucas Egelblad takes P2 from Kieran Dempsey. Husinkveld, Roman Perschke holds on to P4. Patrick Dupart is holding on to P5 with Eric Mannenveld all over the back of him right now. This is what it looks like on board the number 99 car. Let's have a look at what speed he gets with all of this slipstream down the straight. Kaiser and Amundares swapping places. Kaiser's made a few moves. He's up into P17 from 21st. Dan Downing, the only one having any actual issues right now. We'll have to have a replay and see if anything really happened. But Eric Mannenveld for Send It or Bend It, the Dutch driver, is having a look at Patrick Dupart, who's having a little bit of a blinking session. Goes down the inside of Druids, thinks better of it, backs out, continues to fight another day. Behind him, he's got a bit of breathing space. As we look out the back window of Mannenveld's car, you can see his name in the window there. Duncan Murray, that is, in the distance. In P7, Lucas Egelblad is going down the order though. Oh, we were pretty much inside him there. Roman Perschke, oh, he's losing. Roman Perschke around the outside of clearways. I think there would have been a touch there. Patrick Dupart's looking in the position to take advantage of this right now. I like the high-vis wheels on that Husinkveld car, but I think there's going to be a little bit of pressure here as they go down towards side-by-side towards Paddock Hill Bend. Perschke round the outside of Egelblad. Down the hill they go. Oh, it's getting tight through there. Look at that. Perschke around the outside. The German driver, the Austrian driver, sorry, who's from Germany, lives in Austria. Must be the Austrian sponsorship round the outside of Druids. I think he's going to try and hold on to this again, but the battle continues. Side by side. Kakula says he doesn't like the rims. Probably not nice for a photo. I'm not a fan of bright rims normally, but I do like that colour. I'd prefer the car to be that colour with some dark rims, but that's me being fussy. The Husinkveld livery is very recognizable, so they're not going to change it anytime soon, I imagine. Saw them in the Touring Car League in a similar looking machine. Greg Otley is 9/10 up the road with a 1 second lead. Mannenveld and Dupart side by side now. The Polish driver versus the Dutch driver. Down the main straight they go as they go on to lap 6 of 14. And I think Eric Mannenveld's got this done before the braking zone. He has. He turns in towards the corner and the move is done. Perschke and Egelblad still side by side as they go up towards Druids. I'm not sure he's going to come out on top in this, but Perschke's on the inside this time. Can he get it stopped? He does get it stopped. They're still side by side, providing all the entertainment, these two, as they're just swapping on the timesheets over and over again. And it looks like Egelblad's going to keep the position for Northside Racing Gold. Keeps P3. Roman Perschke loses out. Let's have a quick look at what happened, potentially, to Dan Downing. Hopefully nothing will happen between now and then. Goes around the outside. Oh! He actually done a superb job of avoiding Duncan Murray, who had been hit by Kyle Ridley. But he just dipped a wheel on the grass and the gravel, which dragged him out. So he might be frustrated with that. And hopefully he doesn't lose his head as a result. But then let's see what happened in the next corner, because I believe he went off here. Looks like Kyle was either had a slowdown or he's lifting off to let people pass. I think he's... Oh, never mind. That's where the contact happened. Hit Kyle Ridley again. So 2 contacts for Kyle. Dan Downing coming off worse both times. So that is what happened to the slow in slide out car. And it looks like we did miss a pass because Egelblad has now dropped to P5 as Mannenveld in P4. Perschke's now up into P3. What happened to Lucas? Down towards turn 1. I think he's just carried a lot of speed through there. He's on the gravel. So he made a mistake, did Lucas. And I think this is where Eric comes through as well. Down the inside of Druids. It's easily done with all of this pressure. And can Patrick Dupart have a look as well? Did he have a look? I don't think he's going to get it done, though, down towards the hill, towards the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend. Oh, it was very close for Eric Manenveld there. Let's go back live. Sam Van Olst and Joe Gibson swapping places. Joe Gibson's on the gravel, and it looks like Martin Wallace and Kevin Anfield is going to come through as well. A lot of lockups into Druid's corner. Kevin Anfield nice and wide there, using all the curve, and he's actually having a look at Martin Wallace into turn 4. Risky job, but he's scared Martin wide, who's now on the grass. He's got a break on the grass. Can he unsettle that car? Martin Wallace has definitely locked up. He has unsettled him, but Joe Gibson will be on the inside now. He's going to get both of them. Joe Gibson has passed Kevin Anfield, and now he's on the inside of Martin Wallace. What a great view of this that we've got. Anders Kaiser's coming through as well. Started this race in 21st place, remember, and it looks like Kevin Anfield might be losing another position here. Kaiser goes through. Can Joe Gibson make that move up ahead? I'm not sure. They go up the hill towards Graham. Oh, look at Kaiser going down the inside. That would have been risky. I think he's backed out of it. He has. And Joe Gibson can't quite make the move stick on Martin Wallace. He's a wily little fox, he is, Martin Wallace. I think he's kept that. He has. So Martin Wallace keeps P13. Joe Gibson for ORD. Oh, he's fighting it still. Joe Gibson is sticking his car up the inside of the next corner. It's going to put him on the outside of Clearways. Can he get the switch back? Martin's gone wide again. Oh, it's getting feisty. No, can he save it? Joe Gibson does save it. Just didn't have anywhere to go, and now he's going to lose 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 places as a result of losing a run out of that final turn. One small slide. There's a Lurchus Galicia car off into the wall in the background there, and it looks like Dempsey and... Oh, where is Dempsey? Has he had... That's a mistake, surely. Coming off there. Lost a lot of time. Roman Pershke now up into P2, chasing down Greg Otley. They're on lap 10 of 14. Greg will be wishing that the race was shorter. Dan Thornton in chat says, come on, Joe. He is still climbing. He's up into P16. It's Caraday that was in the wall. Amundere and Gibson are side by side. But your leaders... Greg Otley defends. We have to have a look at this because Greg will want to hold on to this, but he's got one of the fastest drivers out there right on his rear. Flashing his lights is Roman Pershke. Down towards turn 1 they go. Goes around the outside, does Roman. He's going to try and get a switch back, but it looks like Greg's got the run that he needs if he can defend this corner, but he doesn't move over soon enough. He's let him have the inside line. That was poor defending from Greg, but maybe he's just looking to survive for a P2. He's tried to get a better exit. Didn't do it. Personally, I would have held the inside line, but maybe he wants to fight for another day as Duncan Murray is going down the order, and he's had an issue. He's gone off track. He's going to rejoin. He was doing well. Oh dear. Looks like he just turned into a 3-wide fight there, to be honest. From that point of view, anyway. Oh dear. And that is what happens to Alejandro Caraday. That'll be another penalty for Caraday. I think had one last time out as well for awareness. Looked like he just turned into John there from that point of view. We saw Lucas go off. This is how Sam got past Joe to begin with. And we saw that as well. So let's go back live. Corpus being passed by Jan Weiswanger down the inside of Druids. Dan Downing's gone off again at that corner. Kakula says there was stuff before that with John's teammate. Hopefully not. Those two often coming together. Kaiser and Wallace swapping places as well. I think Kaiser got the inside line. It looks like Kevin Anfield's going to try and gain a position as well. We're on lap 13 of 14. We're coming to the closing stages of this first race right now. Car number 36 down the inside of Martin Wallace through Paddock Hill Bend, and Martin's going to try and get the run down the hill and go around the outside of Druids. And look, that's how you defend that corner. Kaiser straight to the inside line. Kevin Anfield all over the back of him, and it looks like Ika Lequay is going to try and come through as well for Lurchus Euskadi there in the red machine. ZFG Greenmobile behind. Loses pretty much 3 places there, down to P14. Someone else is up into the top 9. He's gained 9 positions this race, but Anders Kaiser has gained 10. He is your biggest mover. for this race. The NSR red car. Currently up 10 places. Roman Perschke leads the way. Greg Otley in P2, 9 tenths back now. Kieran Dempsey in P3. Locking up into Druids. Eric Mannenveld's up in P4 for Sendit Bendit. I tell you what, Sendit Bendit having a good old race. And Patrick Dupart's still in the top 5. Nice and strong. Sendit Bendit currently in 4th and 6th. Lucas Egelblad down in P7. John Bailiff up 1 place. He's in P10. Let's have a look at these two. Roman Perschke is coming through the final turn. Now we're on lap 14, and it is the final lap, so the checkered flag will be out this time round. Roman Perschke flashes his headlights, comes across to the right-hand side, and there we have it, your race 3 winner, Roman Perschke, with Greg Otley in P2, and Kieran Dempsey flashes his headlights as he brings it home in P3. I wonder if Greg's disappointed or happy with that. It would be good to speak to him later in the interview room, but you led this race for so long, and he kept it nice and safe. Oh, look, I haven't had a bot in here for a while. Twitch chat giving me some bots. None of the bots that ask for what's the ones that normally come in here? The ones for how can I word this politely across these 4 channels without flagging anything? Provocative material. None of those bots. This one is offering free promotion. No, thank you. I mean, anyone that's watching can give me promotion if they want to, if they're enjoying it. That was our first race done. Let's have a look at the results, the full results of that race. Zenith Elator in chat giving it the round of applause. Dan Thornton, some good racing there, and both ORD drivers survived. Just about. Most drivers surviving, a few cars having a few issues, but your race results are as follows. Roman Perschke took the win in the end by 1.1 seconds for Husingveld. Greg Otley for ZFG still should be happy with AP2. A solid podium in race 1. JJ the Fox says, trophy yellow smiling. That'll be a gif that, not a gif, an emoji that I can't see on this chat. Go send it or bend it, says Stephen Burns. So he's a happy man. And I'm not surprised. Kieran Dempsey for Meatball Motorsport in P3. Eric Mannenveld in P4. For Send It or Bend It. Patrick Depart for ORD in P5. Stephen Burns for Send It or Bend It in P6. A 4-6. That's a great result for that team. Lucas Egelblad for Northside Racing Gold in P7. Carl Ridley up in P8 in the end. Sam Van Os P9. John Bailiff P10. Anders Kaiser P11 from 21st. That's a solid race, really. I don't recall seeing him much in practice. He didn't qualify well, clearly, but there he is in P11 for the Dane. Ike Lequay, Lurchus Euskadi in P12. Kevin Anfield P13. New to league racing is Kevin Anfield, and our second Australian driver on the grid. Gets up nice and early, I imagine. I forget what side of Australia he's on. Kyle Ridley being on the right-hand side, I think. I might have got that completely wrong, to be honest. I think I just say it with confidence, and then it's true, right? Martin Wallace, P4 for P14, sorry, for ZFG. Lurchus Galacia, Jesus Amundre, P15. Joe Gibson, P16. Duncan Murray, P17. With Jan Weisfanger for Meatball Motorsport in P18. And your final drivers from that race were David Corpus in P19, Dan Downing in P20, and Alejandro Caraday in P21. So your reverse grid. It's going to be hard for Dan Downing to mess this up, right? He's currently in P20. Caraday will be on pole. Dan Downing P2. Corpus P3. Jan Weisfanger P4. Jan Weisfanger up there last time. Got taken out in the first lap. Hopefully he can hold on a little bit longer today. But he's got Duncan Murray right behind him on the grid. Joseph Gibson will be up there in P6. With Jesus Mundre and Martin Wallace around him as well. So that will be the grid. We'll go through that again when it's time. Who's out on track right now wanting to get some screen time? Jan Weisfanger's out there. Duncan Murray is out there. Let's have another look at that Meatball Motorsport car. Coming through. Got some nice scenic cams. Turn 1. That is Dan Downing. Going through turn 1. Coming down that hill. Looks like it sounded like he went off there. It's looking like it's getting pretty dark, you know, in this race. Time flying through. We're going into sunset mode. 1 minute left of the break. Those of you that need a drink. Got one more race. Another 15-minute race. Same amount of laps. 14 laps. Full reverse grid from race 1. 3 more rounds after this. This will be our 4th race of the season. Round 2. Before heading to Silverstone next week. Silverstone National for races 5 and 6. Races 7 and 8 at round 4. Snetterton 300. And races 9 and 10. Your finale at Donington Park National. Full British calendar for the Clio Cup. The Racing Line Clio Cup. Powered by GT Omega in partnership with VCO eSports. Kakala regularly in chat filling us in on anything we miss. He is our resident photographer. Takes some great pictures of these cars, really does. Plenty of touring car and Jetta pictures to be seen on theracingline.org. Which I'm trying to think of the best camera. I just went through some of the cameras, but I'm not sure I planned to be able... Oh, you can just about see the website there, but it looks like this. It's theracingline.org if you want to go to the website and have a look at the previous 2 calendars. But now let's go through the grid. It's time. We've only got 1 minute before this race starts. So Carraday, Downing, Corpus, Weiswanger, Murray, Gibson, Amundere, Wallace, Anfield and Lequay, your top 10. Kaiser and Bailiff round off your top 12. And then Van Olst, Ridley, Egelblad, Burns, Dupart, Manitveld, Dempsey, Otley and Perschke down to 21st place. Only your top 16 score in this race, remember. So it's all about those points climbing up the order. We did have questions about this this format. We thought it would be a bit of fun. It always is a bit of fun to do a full reverse grid race, even though there's chaos almost all the time. Point system was a little bit fiddly because we didn't want people faking a last place result to get an easy win. So we made it impossible for people to do that and win the championship. You have to get points in both races to win, and it's 5 lights on. And away we go for race 2, race 4 in total. Race 2 today, round Brands Hatch Indy. And once again, a little bit of wheel spin at the back as Kevin Anfield and Martin Wallace swapping over already. And I think that's Jesus Amundere down the inside. Oh, 98. That's Kaiser. There's a Lurcher's car off. Who is that? There's 1, 2, 3. That's Kyle Ridley, Ika Lequay. And it's 3 cars off into the gravel. Weiswanger's down a few places already as well, but he has survived, which is better than last race so far. No blockage on the track. And there's been more contact. That's Martin Wallace round. Oh dear, more cars, more and more cars. And this is what happens with the reverse grids. No one taking it easy, and I think that's Anders Kaiser off into the wall. And there's more cars going off. You know what that means. I mean, this man won't be happy with that because he's 1.2 seconds in the lead. But it is a safety car for the first time this season. Arguably should have been one last time out. At Knockhill in race 2. And there is one this time out. Let's have a look if we can have a quick breakdown through some of those crashes. And it looks like this probably stemmed from the unsettling of the yeah, that was the Danish driver, number 98, I think. There, I didn't see. Do you know what? I just missed what happened to Kyle and Sam because I was watching what happened to the Lurcher's car. I'm guessing Sam locks up or something. It looks like Sam just shot his car left into Carl Ridley, who's then off the track. Anders Kaiser and Martin Wallace made contact a little bit further down. Not not sure what happened. Some of these are really hard to see anything that makes sense, to be honest. Watch this. Oh, look at that. It's the ORD car slid. That had nothing to do with Wallace's slide, which resulted in more people going off. And then Yeezy Zamundere and John Bailiff made contact a little bit further up the road. John Bailiff straight into the side of Yeezy Zamundere there. Into the final turn, and then they made more contact. Zenith says, how does the safety car work? It's just a matter of laps, so it's going to lead him round. If we have a look at Caraday's car, you can see the Porsche machine. I think they followed it for one lap, so I might be able to minimize it now. It's a single file restart. Oh, that's not the one I needed. That's the one I wanted. So the safety car will be in this lap. As they all bunch up into single file again. Caraday leading the way. Dan Downing gets another chance. Corpus is up into P3. Murray fourth. Gibson is currently still in P5. Weiswanger, Egelblad, Anfield, Dupart is P9. 2 ORD cars in the top 10. Roman Persky is 21 seconds back. I don't remember seeing him have an issue, to be honest. He went into the pits, did Roman. Wonder if he got damage in that race. The lights are on, and we've gone green down the back straight. And Caraday's actually had a really strong restart there. He's already half a second ahead of Dan Downing as the car's in single file. Someone disappearing there from our view. Oh, it did look like Dan Downing closed right onto the back of Caraday, though, into the Druids hairpin. Down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. Dan Downing all over the back of him now, so he's woken up. As Downing. What can Caraday do in terms of defence? Though, he had a strong race at Knock Hill Race 2. And is it going to be very much the same situation right now? Can't see anyone that side, because that is where Dan Downing is. He's on the other side of him. Dan Downing on the inside with his chrome blue wheels. Down towards Paddock Hill Bend, and I think that move is pretty much done as he squeezes him, though, into the braking. Oh, well, you don't want to do that in these cars, and that is why Caraday turns in. Dan Downing probably missing his apex by a long way there, but Caraday going down, down, down the order. He ends up in P12 as all the cars come flying through. P13 even, because Dempsey slots through as well. Kevin Anfield racing Jan Weiswanger there up into P6 goes Kevin Anfield. And I think Van Olst, Ridley and Amundere swapping positions back here as well as they go into Druid's hairpin. Roman Persky, though, 14 seconds back after that pit stop. I think he should have toughed that out with whatever damage he had, unless he had a meatball of some sort. Duncan Murray up into P2, passes David Corpus. Weiswanger is going down the order. He's had a slide. He goes into 14th place. He's still in the points, though, if his car is not damaged. Lap 7 of 14. We're halfway through this race, and I think Martin Wallace is going to have a look. Greg Otley, I think, has had an issue. Or it's just Stephen Burns making a double move. Oh, it's because of the blinking car of Patrick Dupart. So, not as in like, oh, that blinking car, but blinking literally with the connection of Patrick Dupart, who keeps disappearing in and out. And we're a little bit worried about that, as will the cars around him. Don't know where he is. He could be taken out any moment, and it won't be, realistically, many people's fault if he's disappeared at that moment in time, as Joe Gibson is going down the inside of David Corpus. Oh, that's a risky move through there, and you think he's going to get it stopped. He does. Joe Gibson for ORD goes up into P3. The number 91 car with a ballsy move through Clearways and Clark Curve. Great stuff from the British driver. Joe should be happy with a move like that. There's still positions swapping around near the back, and I think, there you go, it's Ika Lequay off the circuit. Hopefully someone hasn't lost their head back there. If there's any funny business, they will be penalised hard, because there seems to be some familiar drivers involved. Won't say any names right now, but Lucas Egelblad now looking around the outside of David Corpus. And I think he's going to get that done. So David Corpus losing position after position. They're just picking him off one by one. And now Kevin Anfield will be looking to come through as Greg Otley and Dempsey are side by side as well. Greg Otley goes down the inside. Dempsey's going to try and get the run around the outside though, and I think he should get it. Bailiff might give him a bit of a push. Careful on the grass though, and yet Dempsey swoops in front through turn 4 into turn 5, and Kevin Anfield, just as we praised him, he's gone right off through clearways, and now he's going to go down the order as well. One mistake can be painful. He's now behind Caraday, who we saw go off at turn 1, who is right behind John Bailiff for win it or bin it. This little train of 4 cars. John Bailiff shoots to the inside to defend. Patrick Dupart keeps blinking in and out once again. So if you see the time in screen do that, that is what is happening. JJ Fox says, what a pass. Brilliant move from Joe Gibson. Move of the race, I'd say, so far. Especially knowing the 2 drivers involved. Ikalakwe in the pit, so I wonder if he's got damage or 16x. 16x the limit in this, and you get a drive through. Unless Ikalakwe is stopping. He is stopping, so it's potentially a meatball because he's fixing it. Dan Downing leads the way. Duncan Ray P2, Joe Gibson P3. He should be happy with this. He's had an absolute mare as Joe Gibson in recent races, not just in the Clio. He didn't have a fun old time in the touring cars either last time out. But he has got Lucas Egelblad for Northside Racing Gold chasing him down as Kevin Anfield looks to have passed Alejandro Caraday once again to the inside. Bailiff still looking to pass Greg Otley. Not quite getting it done. Nothing doing through turn 1. Paddock Hill Bend. Dupart and Manintveld. Side by side up ahead. Dupart on the inside. Manintveld on the outside. Burns looking around the outside of Corpus. Is he going to lose another place? Oh, they make contact. Bit of a rub on the rear. Burns goes down the inside to Graham Hill Bend. Little bit rubby racy, but no one died, so fairly safe. Will be looked at probably, but it looks like Corpus is coming back to turn 4. Oh, this is where Joe Gibson passed someone earlier. Looks like Corpus is going to hold the position, and Burns slots in behind with Patrick Dupart also staying safe. And look at that. That's Kieran Dempsey launching it down the inside of Eric Manintveld there into the final turn. Thank you very much, Biggie Morello. Let's put that up on your screens now. In Twitch chat, he says, remember driver of the day. There's your link. I think it's, yeah, it's gone through to all 4 channels. If you click that link, it'll take you through to a list of all the drivers. Vote your driver of the day. There's 3 laps left of this race. You can hold off if you want to. But those of you that are watching across the 4 channels, thank you for coming to the racing line of VCO eSports. Stephen Burns has had a mare as he tumbles down the order. He goes down to 19th place in the final phase of the race. Roman Pershke has been, I mean, fair play to him for solidly sticking it out because you never know what's going to happen, but he's not going to get any points in race 2 right now. 3 laps to go. Unless there's another massive pile-up, click that link and vote for your driver of the day. This little gaggle is not letting up. Anders Kaiser would be on my radar for driver of the day. Starting 21st, gaining 10 places. I think he's hovered in this area though. He's actually lost 2 places in this race, so maybe not for race 2. Oh, he goes to cut off Sam Van Olst down the main straight and slot in between. Risky stuff from the Dane. Patrick Dupart and Manintveld are still side by side trying to get past Corpus. I wonder if I wonder if Stephen Burns had an issue with Corpus as these 2 go side by side into Druids. What can Joe Gibson do now? The race continues. This is for P3. Egelblad is on the inside for Graham Hill Bend. Oh, he goes to squeeze him out. Joe Gibson loses that podium spot, but he's still in P4. Can he get him back in the next 2 laps? Manintveld and Dupart, there's side by sides everywhere. I'm not sure which battle to watch. Oh, Gibson tries to do the same move as before. Can he unsettle Egelblad into a mistake into this final turn and get the run down this main straight? He looks like he's got a solid exit here. Let's go on the top of Joe Gibson's car. Patrick Dupart is up 9 places. Kieran Dempsey is up 12. Eric Manintveld up 12. Lucas Egelblad, who's now in P3, up 12 positions. Greg Otley is up 11 places from this race. Maybe helped out a little bit at the starts. Greg Otley, though, goes up again as he passes Patrick Dupart, I think, down towards Druids. Oh, it gets pretty close. And who's that? That's John Bailiff trying to take advantage of this as well. Caraday and Van Olst side by side behind. Caraday goes to run him out wide. Oh, the headlights are coming on, so it is getting dark out there. Caraday holding it round the outside there of Sam Van Olst down towards turn 4. We're on lap 13 of 14. I think we're about to go on to the final lap, actually, as Anders Kaiser and Ika Lequay actually ended their race in the pits. Look at Carade go wide. That's going to open up the inside for Martin Wallace, who's going to get both of them. The ZFG driver takes 2 places in one, passes Sam Van Olst and Alejandro Carade, goes up into P12. Does the ZFG machine. It's still 3 wide down the straight onto this final lap. Wallace holds the inside. Can he get it turned in? Can he hold the inside and defend from Sam Van Olst, who's got his nose in? He can't move over because Sam's got his nose in there towards Druids. Martin's going to have to go around the outside. And he does go around the outside. Martin Wallace is not letting this go. This is Sam Van Olst's car. Martin Wallace is on the inside. Are we going to see Sam appear from... He's still there somewhere. There he is. You can see Carade. Down towards turn 4 they go. Samgo's going to have the inside, though, of turn 5. And Carade is going to take it back. Martin Wallace, who gained 2 places, is actually going to lose it. But Daniel Downing won this race already with Duncan Murray. Lucas Egelblad's going to come home in P3. Joseph Gibson deserves to flash his lights there after bringing it home in P4. Kieran Dempsey, P6. Eric Mannenveld, P5. Corpus, Dupart, Bailiff, Otley, Anfield, Van Olst comes out on top in that fight. Wallace gained the 2 places and then lost them in the same place a lap later. Your point scorers go down to Jesus and Mundere right now. Stephen Burns didn't quite make it. Carl Ridley out of the race as well. Oh, they've got to sort that rear. They've got to sort that rear contact out. He's just going to escape from there, I imagine. What happened to Kaiser? Oh, they look like a solid force field between their cars. Spins it round, gets it pointing in the right direction. Did he have a meatball or something? Has he got damage? If he did have a meatball, he should have made it to the end because it was close to the end of the race. 3 laps, I believe, you get to serve a meatball. Does look like he's struggling with the steering wheel. So damage is probably the case. He does go into the pits. So it would have been dangerous to stay out there, but I'm not one to penalise people. And as long as they don't crash again with a damaged car. What happened to Stephen Burns? Oh, I think, yeah, he's just gone deep. Oh, straight into the wall. Straight into the wall. Oh, that's a shame. That is a massive shame. Haven't seen any celebratory donuts this season yet. Dan Downing brings it home for the race 2 win. Let's have a look at those results before I have a look at your driver of the day and get some interviews in. Start the replay. Forgot how light it was at the start. So your results then for race 2. It says Ika Lequay was 7 laps down. Did we lose Ika that early on? Must have done. Anders Kaiser, 3 laps till the end, 20th place. Roman Pershke, well, Carl Ridley 2 laps to the end, 19th place. Roman Pershke 18th in the end. Within reach of... well, if Stephen gets a penalty, which I doubt, it's within reach of that, but it wouldn't matter anyway, because 16th place would be the first point scoring position. So Stephen Burns, Roman Pershke not scoring either. Jesus Mundere gets that final point for now. Jan Weisfanger 15th. Martin Wallace 14th in the end after a fantastic fight with Carade and Van Olst there at the end. Kevin Anfield P11. Greg Otley P10. John Bailiff P9. Who gained the most positions? Oh, it was a joint effort from Eric Mannenveld and Kieran Dempsey up there in P5 and 6, who both gained 13 places. So where did we get to? John Bailiff P9, Patrick Dupart P8 for ORD, Lurchus Euskadi, David Corpus P7 in the end, Kieran Dempsey P6, and Eric Mannenveld P5. Joe Gibson with a very close podium chance, but still a P4. He will be happy with Lucas Egelblad P3 in the end. Duncan Murray P2. He was up 3 places from where he started, and Dan Downing to slow in, slide out with another race 2 win for their team, you know. That's twice in a row that they've had a mare in race 1 and come out on top in race 2. So, it's interview time. Dan Downing can't stick about for interviews. The girlfriend is probably calling. Let's have a look at the steward's room so I know. Yeah, I thought so. Stephen Burns. He reported himself for breaking on the grass. Alright, anyway, interviews. Let's have a quick look at your driver of the day votes, and then let's talk to some people. Where are we at right now? Show results. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Just realised it says Gerg Otley on this list. Alright, I'll leave the votes there. They don't seem to be changing. I'll leave it on my screen, but I will call that now. Let's bring in this man for ZFG Racing. It is Gregory Otley in the commentary booth right now. I think probably, is it the first? It can't be the first time that, Greg, you've been up here, is it?
No, I've been in here with you a couple times before. Back in the Jetta days.
Of course.
First time with the Clios.
First time with the Clios. Well, it's only our second round, but what a strong round for you today. That was. Tell me you had fun out there, because you pulled off some amazing racing in race 1, and it looked like you were coming home to the win, just getting nabbed at the end by Roman Perschke. But then, how was race 2 from your point of view? Starting from that far back and making your way up to the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this round Brands Hatch. Great track. As you said, yeah, just couldn't quite hold on for the win, unfortunately, in the first race. The second one, I honestly didn't know what to expect, having so many people in front of me. Usually, you know, you sort of gauge it in the first round, and because of what happened in the first round, it was a bit like unknown. But yeah, obviously starting sort of side by side with Roman at the back, had a great start, avoided some accidents, and then obviously sort of settled down, I think behind Stephen once we had the safety car thrown. So yeah, it was it's quite exciting. Nice to be sort of middle of the field and making up that many positions from the back. So yeah, it was really good for me.
It was a tough call with the safety car again, because I mean, in hindsight, after watching Knock Hill again, I was like, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, because it was definitely a safety car in race 2. And all the drivers said it as well, of course, in our little race director drivers briefing. Oh, imagine if we filmed TRL briefings with everyone sat in the same room. That'd be dangerous. But
it'd be interesting. Yeah.
But anyway. This time, I nearly didn't do it again, because there were 3 cars off at turn 1, and they were off the circuit, they were out the way, and I was like, do you know what? Nah, not going to do it. But then there was 2 more cars off at the next turn, and then I thought, do I do it again? Do I do it? And I nearly said no again, and then there were 2 more cars off at the next turn, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. Let's get the Porsche out on track, bring out the safety car. But it definitely, it seemed all right. The restart was fairly safe. Everyone was single file. Tough track to overtake on. Where was your favourite place to pass around here today?
Was it turn 5?
Final
really
turn.
Long right-hander, yeah, last turn. That was the best overtake for me. Overtaking 2 cars down on the inside, tight line. Yeah, difficult to do that with everyone else in the second race though. But yeah, it was difficult trying to make it back through after the safety car, and sort of lost a few positions, but ultimately had fun out there, and that's what really counts. So great.
Of course. Well, it's great to hear from you, and congratulations on your results today. It'll be interesting to see where you are in the standings after that one. But before I let you go, as usual, is there anyone that you want to say hello or thank you to?
Yeah, shout out to anyone watching, enjoying the league. Another great one with the Clios this time. So, you know, shout out to Dan, Dean, James, Harriet, my fiance as well. So, yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season.
No worries. Thank you very much, Greg. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
away he goes. And I agree with Dan Thornton. There's no favouritism going on here. We don't do favouritism, and Pulsus isn't on the grid anymore, so I can't be accused of Pulsus bias. But I do want to speak to him. It's Joseph Gibson who finished P4 in that race, nearly got a P3, and I'm hoping, I'm sure, well, Dan says he's happy, so let's hear it. Let's hear the smile come through, Joe. How are you feeling after today?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, over the moon with it. I was just watching back the second race there just before you pulled me in, and I'm smiling more now. Now it's finished, really, because it was all a blur, but really good second race.
It was a bit of a tough one. You pulled off one of the moves of the races though. That was caught on stream anyway. Through, I'm trying to think where it was. I think it was turn 4 into 5 on Corpus is the one that we saw, which was scary to watch, but you pulled it off. And it looked like it was. I can understand that there might be a little bit of frustration because P3 was definitely right there within the grasp and just got passed by Lucas at the end, but P4 was definitely still a solid effort. And like, I mean, points in both races. It's been a long time coming. Did you take a different approach today, or was it just luck was a little bit more on your side today, and then you brought it home?
Yeah, luck. It opened up in front of me a bit. I got my head down, just concentrated on what I had to do, and it just came off. I was a bit more aggressive today than what I usually am. I'm normally a sitter, but I think it paid off today.
Well, that's great stuff. It was great to hear from you, Jan. And congratulations again. It'll be interesting to see the points change now after today. See where I'm sure ORD would have jumped up a spot or two in the team standings after today's results from both of you. But is there anyone, before I let you go, that you want to say hello or thank you to?
Obviously, thank you to ORD, Dan, obviously Patrick, Matt, and thanks to you, Jack, as always. You've been such a good host.
No worries. Thank you very much, Joe. I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, love him. Love him. I can tell that he's happy. Definitely happier. I mean, he is always happy, to be fair. We're making him sound miserable half the time, but I promise you, he's not. He actually is. He's happy most of the time, and then after a race, you know what it's like when you have a bad race. I'm currently in that area now. I've had a string of bad races. We've got one more person to speak to. And I would like to speak to race 1 winner, Roman Perschke. He nearly didn't win the first race, actually, but he done it in the end. How was that for you, Roman?
I don't know what happened there on the start, honestly. I thought I have everything set up, and then it just didn't go. They just catched me on the start, and then on the last corner there, I was kindly showed the way to the outside, but to be fair, I outbraked myself, so we were both stranded there on the outside, and then Greg just took the opportunity and slipped in on the inside. Really good move by him there.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that fight, to be honest. But then you drop down to P4 at one point, and then you can't. It's a tough track to overtake, which we keep saying. But you managed to make your way back up there, and then you just got. It looked like, I mean, watching it back. It might be different from on board, but watching it back, it just looked like he had enough room to defend the inside of Druids, but didn't do it. And you managed to slide your way up there and take another win. But then tell us, race 2, did you have damage? Did you consciously pit?
Because on the first start I felt my clutch is not set up properly. I worked a bit on it, and then on the second start I slipped off the clutch before the lights went off.
Oh.
So I had a false start. Yeah, that race done for me.
Do you know what? I'm going to try and find it. Let's have a look. How bad was it?
A very small jump immediately, but that was too late. I already got the stop and hold penalty there.
Oh yeah, it was tiny.
Yeah, and then
it wasn't even a big jump.
I thought, okay, cool, we have the safety car, but then like first pass around the pit lane was still closed, and so only on the second pass I could go into the pit to sit on my penalty, and then I just tried to get out and go as quick as possible, but I was still 15 seconds behind the field. So yeah, nothing for me to be doing. I just collected basically the guys that got stranded.
That's alright. Well, I mean, next time out is Silverstone National, another small circuit, probably a bit more overtaking opportunity there though. And I imagine Fabian Siegmann will be back, your teammate as well. Husingveld going to be on the charge now for the final 3 rounds.
Absolutely. I think we're going to try our best. I think pace is there, but I mean, your track choices make it very hard to get up there in the second race.
So far, I think we'll see a change in the final ones. I mean, the pace across the grid this time was obviously very small with 5 turns. It's basically an oval, but Silverstone National will probably be similar, and then Snetterton I'm expecting probably a big gap across the field because it's the 300 layout, so there's plenty of corners there. Donington will be interesting because they're all fast sweepers, so that might be similar to these. But that's all fun.
I think the Clio is going to be tricky in Donington with the elevation changes on the brake. I think some people will lock their brakes a lot here.
Of course.
But generally, racing is great. Even here today on Brands, it was good fun. I think I drove 2 laps with Lucas side by side there on race 1.
Yeah, before pulling in. Well, it's been great to speak to you. Congratulations on another win as well, of course. Is there anyone, before I let you go, Roman, that you want to say hello or thank you to?
Well, anyone from the team that's watching, thanks for watching, guys.
No worries. Thank you, Roman. Speak to you soon.
All right. Yeah, bye-bye.
There he goes. A great addition to the grid, to be honest, these two. Glad they've come out the woodwork. Roman, and I actually forgot about this, and I'm pretty sure someone reminded me, but I didn't do many rounds. It was a previous league, a touring car league. Actually raced Roman. Which is why his name looked familiar, but I just couldn't quite pinpoint what it was. Lovely guy. Have some little fun in practice sessions on these races. And Fabian Siegmann as well, who I don't think I'd raced before. The Husingveld team, a great addition. And Stefan Scheller, actually, who joined the Touring Car Championship. So hopefully we'll see them, if the Jetta Cup returns, maybe we'll see them try that machine, because that's a funny little car, I'm sure. But that's a big if. Right now, our focus is on the Clio Cup Series, the Racing Line Clio Cup, powered by GT Omega, and that is race 4 done. On to round 3 next week, same time. Thank you for watching on VCO eSports and the Racing Line channels. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.